Welcome everyone to the Volvo XC90 T8e all-wheel drive. The XC90 is the car that defines the Volvo brand. It's at the very top of their lineup. It was the car that regenerated everything that we currently know about Volvo when they were originally taken over by their new Chinese owners. It's a twin engine setup with a supercharged and turbocharged four-cylinder up front with two electric motors and a battery pack. So that means that this is a vehicle that has the capability of pure electric drive. This one I have in front of me specifically is the R design, so that's why we have some of the blacked out pieces, that different grille, and these satin wing mirrors. But what I really want to discover in this video is how does the T8 stand up as an upcharge over the T6 when we're looking at the equivalent R design T6 and the equivalent R design T8. We're looking at about a $13,000 upcharge. So with the XC90 already wearing the crown for the Volvo lineup, does this T8 upgrade make it the ultimate Volvo? Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go for a drive in the XC90, really focus on the hybrid capability of it, and then at the end of the video, I'll place it in my ranking system to see where it lies against other full-size SUVs. So without further ado, let's go for a drive. I want to focus the majority of my review on the T8 configuration. We all know the XC90, it's been out for a fair few years now. And then the T8 all-wheel drive, that first model year was actually 2017. That had a slightly smaller battery pack than what this one has. This has a 10.4 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery. And then the two electric motors, one exists on the rear axle, that is what powers the rear wheels, and then the other one actually sits in between 2-liter supercharged and turbocharged engine and the 8-speed transmission. If you want pure electric drive, that means you are in rear wheel drive. Combined, this system makes 400 horsepower and 472 pound-feet of torque. Even in the constant all-wheel drive mode, there seems to be some kind of miscommunication between the front axle and the rear axle. From time to time in this mode, or whenever the electric power in the rear is engaging, it seems to sort of be overstepping its mark. It seems to be providing more power than the system should, and because of this, from time to time, I got a fair amount of oversteer, even from very mild throttle application. So perhaps there needs to be a little more software developed for this T8 just to have greater communication between the gasoline power and the electric power. Being a plug-in hybrid, you can charge this thing up overnight and get about 27 kilometers of pure electric range. That's what Volvo claims. You can see the battery range and your gasoline range constantly changing with the monitor down here on the right hand side. And with this T8, it does something a little bit differently that I've experienced with other hybrids and plug-in hybrids. With the Tach Display on the right hand side, you have an extra outline in blue. What this is highlighting is the amount of electrical reserve power you have. So if you ever keep your tach needle in that space, you're operating in electric drive. As soon as you go over, you have a little teardrop, and that's representing the gasoline engine. As soon as that gets filled up, that's when you've now engaged the four-cylinder engine. So of course, if you want to be careful with the throttle and keep your tach within the electricity capacity, you can have total emissions-free driving and have 27 kilometers of reserve battery power and range. And this contributes to a vehicle that I just really like driving. It's surprisingly competent when you want to thrash it up a bit of a mountain road, but then can be totally docile. The transitions between pure electric and hybridized is totally seamless. You'll hear a little bit of rattle come from that four-cylinder engine and a fair amount of supercharger whine. I've experienced this in quite a few of the other T6 motors. Of course, that's what this vehicle has here too. They feel more robust than refined, and you'll notice them when you're doing in-town driving, but on the highway, without looking at your power reserve, you simply wouldn't know the difference between electric mode and gasoline mode. And anything under the line of ready is when you're charging the battery pack with your regenerative brakes. You have the ability to keep it in drive mode or with another setting down here called B. This is the more aggressive regenerative braking mode, and it's operated through this unique gear shifter that is exclusive to the T8 models. It's a Swedish crystal gear lever. It's backlit, so at night you can see a little more depth to this crystal, and it fits nicely in your palm. But I've experienced this with other Volvo models, is that you need to double tap up, double tap down for reverse and drive, and then triple tap if you want to get into B. I would prefer it to be perhaps a hold in place. It always returns to center, so that's why you need to double tap. You have 6 different driving modes that you actually have available to you that you'll move around with this knurled switch. You have constant all-wheel drive. That's exactly what it sounds like. It's using the electric motor and the gasoline motor at all times. You'll have the pure electric mode, and that's trying to force the car into using as much electric driving as it can. Hybrid is using the best of both worlds. And then power mode, it's using all of the potential of those motors to make this as quick and as exciting of a car as it can be. Then finally, with off-road mode, you have to be going at a fairly slow speed for this to engage, and I can't see many people seriously taking this on an off-roading course, but if you ever wanted to do it, this Volvo has the capability to do so. Beyond this gear shifter, the XC90 is almost like every other Volvo. We have this stainless steel mesh kind of like trim along the dashboard and down here on the sides. You can reveal 3 cup holders along here. Soft touch materials up here on the top of the door cards and all the way down to the very bottom. You have these 2 different color stitchings that lead from the doors all the way up to the dashboard and wrap around. Just here where the glove box is, there's a little bit of flex between these 2 leather components, so the stitching doesn't line up perfectly. There's plenty of leather here on the steering wheel, here on the center tunnel. The carpet leads all the way up to the side. I love that. And in the R design, you get these unique seats that look more heavily bolstered than other trims seats. I would say they're a little on the firmer side in terms of padding, but they hug my body perfectly, and they have a lot of thigh extension too, so I could go on a cross-country tour in this thing. And then they have the suede inserts, leading these seats to be not just something you want to spend a long time sitting in, but admiring as well. And you always know when a car's fancy when it has a button to release the glove box, which then leads into a chilled glove box. You pull this handle and you can vent in the air conditioning to keep things chilled. Now that is extra fancy. The touchscreen is excellent. It has the fixed climate control settings down here on the bottom. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are included. Swiping over to the right, you have a little bit of information available to you, and switching over to the left, you can turn off all your safety systems. You can use this button to lower the headrests. With these paddles behind the steering wheel, you can change the 8-speed transmission. They look the same and feel largely the same as all the other Volvo models I've driven, but here they seem more solid. In other vehicles, I complained that they just felt a little hollow, bit too plasticky. These though, still the same plastic and material, just feel like the click is more substantial. So if you're an individual that is looking to buy this XC90 and perhaps you want something that's a little easier on your fuel budget, then you should absolutely still consider this T8, but it doesn't offer too much more outside of that realm of hybridization to the regular T6. It comes with all the same equipment. The really only exclusive things that I can find, and what you're paying that additional money for, is the batteries, the electric motors, and then maybe a few little bits of software and this crystal gear knob. Air suspension is available in the XC90, but for this one I have the standard suspension. Rides supremely well on these 20-inch wheels. With the R design, they do come with 21 inches, but the dealership attached these with the winter tires, so I had to downsize a bit. I think the only time this Volvo gets upset is like on the sharpest of cracks. Beyond that though, nothing else to complain about. For rear seat comfort, I can easily sit behind myself with very little complaints. The standard panoramic sunroof lets a lot of light into the back row too. For third row, a 6-footer really can sit back there comfortably. Visibility for a full-size SUV is outstanding. There's a lot of glass in this greenhouse. Looking behind you, yeah, you've got a thick D-pillar, but because that rear windshield is so wide, I have absolutely zero concern when it comes to rear view visibility. The Volvo XC90 is perhaps one of the best well-rounded SUVs I've ever come across. It has a surprising amount of performance. It has the electric capability that could satisfy anybody that's looking to reduce their fuel costs. But quite frankly, for the $13,000 upcharge, I think you have to really want that hybrid capability. Comparing this to the T6 all-wheel drive, yes, it has that pure electric capability, but I don't think it's justifiable for that price point. So if you're looking to buy an XC90, you should absolutely go for it because it's a segment leader. But for the T8, it's something that I highly recommend you should consider owning. Try to determine how much you will be using that electric drive and how quickly you could recuperate that $13,000 upcharge, because the XC90 is a brilliant car. The T8 makes it even better, but at a cost. So that's been everything from me. Thank you so much for taking the time to watching this video. Please like the video if you liked it, share it if you think other people will like it too, and if you want to hit that subscribe button just down below, that does the world for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again.